In the United States, we look at entertainment and pop culture through a very narrowed focus. After all, much of the mass media advancement in history after the invention of the printing press stemmed from right here in the United States. But other entertainment is produced in nations around the world, which until a recent expansion in the focus of globalization and streaming stayed pretty much focused on their local populations. Many of us are actually now consuming stories that are crafted and filmed, not just in Hollywood, but from around the world. Why is this an important topic for today? Well, because other nations and even the entirety of the EU are looking to not lose ground after this current global crisis is over. The following is a Variety article and an opinion after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino.
An article from Variety today, May 15th, at the time of this recording, we see an outline of events that are unfolding throughout Europe in regards to the production of entertainment media. So from the article, the survival of Europe's film and television producers amid what is perceived as a growing imbalance between them and the US streaming giants was the overarching topic in a Rome MIA market panel on the main challenges faced by European indies as lockdown restrictions begin to lift across the EU. Platforms such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon are considered the big winners amid the current thing we can't talk about, as Carol Scotta, founder and head of France's prominent producer-distributor Haute de Court, put it during a Variety moderated session. Aside from immediate concerns such as safety protocols and insurance coverage necessary to start shooting again, Europe's indies are trying to think ahead about the structural plan that will keep them afloat. Spanish producer-director Alvaro Longoria, president of the European Producers Club, revealed that the European Commissioner of the Internal Market, Thierry Breton, has created an informal task force comprising all film and TV industry segments in order to understand what the majority's immediate threats to the ecosystem are and what measures can be implemented in order to alleviate the impact of the crisis. The European ecosystem is made up of a lot of small and medium-sized companies and local players that will suffer greatly, and the main goal of this task force is to prevent that devastation. The key issues of the informal task force's agenda are medium and long-term financing, so people in the industry can survive over the next few months. Measures to sort the insurance problem that local governments can implement locally, and adapting the playing field so everybody is competing on the same basis, he said. On this point, Longoria said an effort is underway to set new legislative framework so that the global streamers participate in some way or another in the pan-European film and TV industry recovery effort, besides just pumping money into European productions that they play on their platforms. To me, the key issue really is to push the platforms, which are the big winners amid this crisis, and some of them are richer than our countries, to actually put money into the system, said Scotta. The bigger picture would be to push them to invest money in the general system, said Scotta. In that way, we can also help theaters and can help distributors. One measure on the table is a digital tax, given the number of complaints from European broadcasters that global platforms are not subject to the same taxes they pay, said Longoria. Meanwhile, the soft money for the production that Europe is known for does not appear to have dried up, but securing it appears to have become more difficult. The German soft money funds were very quick in coming together and saying, okay, we have to make a rescue program, said Jonas Dorbach, managing director of Germany's Komplizen Film. They put 15 million euro in it and said, for every shoot that was stopped by the current thing we're dealing with, we will pay and try to take on all of the expenditures, he said. However, the German funds were also straightforward in insisting another solution would be necessary going forward, noting that they couldn't cover productions shooting without insurance. At the moment, some shoots are starting in Germany, but they are backed by either broadcasters or platforms. These include Netflix shows starting shoots thanks to the streamer's own insurance, noted Dornbach, who lamented, It can't be a survival of the fittest where only the ones with the most money, who are the strongest, will survive. Other panelists noted that Netflix has a big edge in the moment because the thing that we're dealing with, insurance, is alleged to be not an issue for them. We'll skip down a little bit. The Italian Culture Ministry is also thinking of raising local tax credits for production from 30 to 40% of expenses, which would give us the possibility of absorbing costs directly generated by the thing we're dealing with protocols. Another key point the Italian industry is lobbying for is that tax credits and all public funds should take part of the thing we're dealing with risk by lifting the requirement that these funds are triggered only upon delivery of the completed product. In other words, if a production collapses due to the thing we're dealing with, it should still be eligible for tax credits and other soft money. Gianandrea Pecorelli, head of the Italian's Banijay-backed Aurora TV, lamented that broadcasters, such as an Italian pubcaster Ray, would likely leave the CV liability to the producers. Ultimately, a big hope is that the European Commission will step in with a new deal of sorts. Dornbach said, "What this crisis taught us is that we all lost our boat in the ocean, our second house in the mountains, our Rolex, the big SUV. I have none of those." Dornbach added, but what we really saw is, in addition to Netflix stock skyrocketing, culture is really adding to our life, and at a European level, it should be given value. This article clearly points out how soft or fragile other countries' production engines are, with the producers of film largely being left to handle the financial burdens of producing the films and shows themselves. But that's only one of the many issues that the entertainment industry is struggling with. Production insurance will be harder to acquire, and productions without insurance will likely find no safety net under most of them, and definitely under none of the propositions that were suggested during this forum. Offering tax incentives for local production is nothing new in the industry overall, worldwide especially, but government support isn't even unheard of. But some of the broader proposals not mentioned directly in this article involved outright production expenses from EU funds as a possibility. All of this being tied to, of course, increased levies on platforms and networks like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon, well, and the others. A real irony here is that in the United States, the entertainment industry is supported by large financial interests, risking their money on a show or movie production. I use the word largely because as Netflix either buys productions directly or funds most projects directly, they're a different animal entirely. But during this time, Netflix has obviously had the greatest benefit from their model. As a result, actually more as an aside, I think it's important to look at Hollywood in terms of bailout money. So far, there has not been a large-scale government involvement set into motion, other than a few mentions by elements of the government. Nor do I see that really on the horizon. I think between the studios, the producers, the investors, and insurance and similar interests, as production will wind back up, the capital losses are going to be absorbed from this downtime. I see a return to form probably over the next 2 years. I also see more focus on producing content that is aimed at everyone, from now on. So there are some potential hiccups along the path, however. More union deals need to be set in stone going forward, and deals that will be less friendly to the union members than they could have been before the crisis that we're dealing with currently. There are also stacks of purchased scripts and some pre-production work that'll have to be abandoned along the way, as the interest in agenda-driven media properties have been soundly rejected by audiences en masse. And there's quite a bit of evidence to back that, considering everybody's been locked up at home and they're not interested in, nor are they appreciating any of those properties that were produced. While the next few tentpoles to be released will likely continue to reek of agenda and virtue signaling, the road ahead should be better for audiences. The next potential disappointment will likely be Mulan, and that will likely have trouble in all of its markets when it's going to hit the theaters in July 24th, and with its $150 million budget, and probably more than that, it's going to underperform what it should normally have yielded. So, with that said, so what are your thoughts? Is globalization responsible for the situation in the European markets? Is the current situation that we're all dealing with to blame? Is direct government financial support and heavy levies on foreign platforms the answer to good content in the EU? And I'm sure you know my thoughts to all of those. So, as YouTube has now publicly acknowledged that they are driving traffic away from content creators towards the more agenda-driven mainstream media producers, it is more important than ever for you to choose to share videos around on the platform. Share them on Twitter, share them elsewhere. That will help to drive traffic to your favorite creators' content. If you like a video, hit like. If you like a content creator, hit subscribe. If you have any comments, please utilize the box below, as I said before, because I like to have a conversation. I want you to go ahead and take care of yourself, take care of others. Notice that I appreciate every moment that you spend here on my channel, and I appreciate every moment you spend on other people's channels as well. Be sure to wash your hands, stay healthy and safe, and until the next time, bye. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.